Boom shakalaka, Bitcoin encountering some pretty stiff resistance as previous support has become resistance. Are we in for a Boxing Day miracle? And some reasons why I am still pretty darn optimistic. Stay tuned. What's up everyone, Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's video, a lot of very interesting charts for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, including are we in for a Boxing Day miracle and why I am still long-term optimistic. Before we get into it guys, like the video. Also, Merry Christmas to all of you people who do and do not celebrate it out there. Now, today, Fear and Greed at 73, up from yesterday's 71. The overall market sideways today. Bitcoin at 43,228, Ethereum at 2281, Solana at $112, BNB at 266, XRP 61 cents, Cardano 60 cents, Avalanche $47, and Dogecoin 9 cents. And Bitcoin, this support trend line since October broke through it in the middle of December, and as of then has become resistance. Could potentially push price all the way down to the $40,000 mark where the 50-day moving average and this long-term support band converge. Going to be very interesting for Bitcoin in the short term. But if you zoom out, looking at where we are in red right here compared with previous halvings, we're right in the mix. Pretty much exactly where things are at the time of previous halvings. We have the ETF deadline coming up pretty soon. There's talk maybe even by next week there could be an ETF approval. There's also the halving coming up. Whole bunch of stuff happening for Bitcoin. The presidential election, which has some correlation with Bitcoin's price. So all of these things could positively or negatively impact the price. This week we had the highest Bitcoin transaction fees of all time. Very interesting how this generally has only happened during the bubbles, and then recently right here in 2023 has happened twice. And Bitcoin right now coming up close to the $1 trillion market cap, which would be roughly a $51,000 Bitcoin. Also, the market cap of silver very close to there, and silver's market cap was in fact the rejection line for the previous peak. Could we break through these levels? And if we do, I have a feeling this $51,000 area would be the line in the sand where people would all of a sudden be in on this bull run happening. You see, because Bitcoin, it is the eve. Yesterday was Christmas Eve. Today is Christmas Day. It is the eve before Bitcoin spot ETF. The day is coming when Bitcoin becomes mainstream bucket for wealth allocation. And when that day comes, the top 1% of the wealthiest people in the world, they would only be able to afford 0.87 Bitcoin, not even a full Bitcoin. So if you own a full Bitcoin, you are going to be the top 1 wealthiest percent of people in the world. Before that happens though, Bitcoin number of entities with greater than 1,000 Bitcoin are dropping off big time. Now, could they know something we don't know? Maybe spot ETF gets rejected. Maybe there's something else going on. Maybe they do it for tax reasons. Maybe they remember that January is historically a terrible month for Bitcoin. Every January, pretty much, Bitcoin price crashes. So, will it happen this January? I don't know. We've had a pretty good October and November, so maybe, and December. Maybe we'll see a pretty bad January. Now, if we take a look at here, as Bitcoin price has been climbing, we see a decrease in the estimated leverage ratio. They say here a sign that traders are reducing their leverage risk. I would say a sign that leverage traders are getting liquidated and can't buy back in. You see, historically, when the leverage ratios were this low, Bitcoin price actually consolidated there for a few months, almost 6 months at that point, where it just went sideways before breaking up again from liquidating leverage traders. Could we be seeing the same thing again, another few months of sideways action before everybody starts shorting Bitcoin and they get liquidated and then the price jumps up? That's certainly a possibility. Now, Bitcoin looking historically. Now, history doesn't repeat itself, likes to disappoint the most people possible, but if we take a look, these trend lines, after they're broken, they are retested in each previous cycle. Now, will that happen for certainty this time? No. But there is a chance we might retest this trend line with the price coming down, potentially to these levels we were talking about, 40,000-ish area. That's we have some pretty significant support for Bitcoin at that area. And based on the consolidation patterns that we're seeing right now, 22-day consolidation pattern, Well, this would put a breakout for Boxing Day, aka tomorrow, for those of you who don't know about Boxing Day, because, you know, who does? But we could see a big breakout at this point because it's forming the same less than 10% rectangular consolidation in price. And if you notice, this price can go all the way down to $40,000 and still maintain that 10% rectangular consolidation. So we could see that wick going down before coming back up. We also see RSI behavior acting the same. This wedge coiling up of the RSI could be a big breakout on Boxing Day. Maybe tomorrow could take off, and maybe January will be great, especially when you consider some of these indicators. Some of my favorite, especially this one, the OBV, the 2-month OBV, so a long-term OBV. Now, OBV, I like this one because this is a leading indicator. It tells us what Bitcoin is going to do before it doesn't. Now, this has been going up, and you can see that it actually precedes a Bitcoin price movement. This has broken new all-time highs, meaning that Bitcoin would likely break new all-time highs. You can see here, each time it broke new all-time highs, it broke those previous all-time highs within about a month or two. This means that historically, a new all-time high no more than 2 months away. So that would put a new all-time high by February, and then a top within 6 to 10 months. That means a top between June and October of 2024. Very, very interesting for Bitcoin. We also have a potential cross of the weekly MA 100 and 200, which Bitcoin has never done before. There were narrowings previously, and these narrowings were the impulses right before massive bull runs. We have never had a cross, but should this cross occur, that could send things dramatically skyward. And how far? Well, if we take a look at the Bollinger Band's width right here on the monthly charts, this is the first time since 2016 that Bitcoin price has actually broken above the Bollinger Band's monthly resistance line up here on the top. And when it did that in 2016, price went up 100x. Could we see 100x in Bitcoin? $4 million Bitcoin? That would be freaking rad. And I hope we would all sell at that point and at least take our profits and go have some fun. But if we didn't, look at this. We are gearing up for a massive inverse head and shoulders for Bitcoin right now. We got a left shoulder in between the two peaks of 2021. We got an inverse head at the bottom in 2023. Should this come back up to the top, roughly around $70,000 to $80,000, have another shoulder down there, this would send the price up dramatically for a very healthy bull run to come. So that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, push the like button. Merry Christmas, everyone. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Love you. Peace.
If you don't think Bitcoin's going to $1 million a coin and then $10 million a coin, you're already a loser.
From now on, if you don't own Bitcoin, you're a moron.